Trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight. Access now with Marcellus Hall and LaDon Davis. Live starting September 16th.
How do we get this island of Grand Bahama to continue to bounce back?
We now have to personally own our economy. So again, we have the government, along with the Small Business Development Center, is pushing entrepreneurship, funding.
Excellent.
You know, putting heads in beds is so important for our entertainment industry, and we believe that Grand Bahama has that presence.
How do you get something you've never had? You're going to have to be prepared to do something that you've never done.
Over 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor, just waiting to be found. Nothing is truly ever lost at sea, only hidden by time and sand. When I put this fleet together, it wasn't just for fun. And although we do have fun, we never lose sight of our goal. Right here, right now, we are on a mission.
At the House of Assembly, I'm Makush Lapinder. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Grand Bahama's economic comeback shared with hundreds of diplomats. Also, the Bahamas Department of Immigration in Grand Bahama swearing in new residents of the Bahamas in a ceremony. And healthcare professionals gather in Grand Bahama for the annual Medical and Dental Association Conference.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition start now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight as diplomatic week nears to an end on Grand Bahama. Diplomats heard of the government's continued mission when it comes to climate change, restoration, trade, and investments. Our Joan Davis-Rowe reports.
Climate change and investment, a message that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, hopes will not only resonate with over 100 local, regional, international diplomats, but leaders the world over.
The number one policy issue for the Bahamas is climate change. We must get to work in an open and transparent way to address climate change. It's existential for us, with 80% of our land mass within a meter of the sea and with sea levels rising. Here on Grand Bahama, the highest point on this island is 48 feet above sea level. So we're headed to COP29 to continue to make the case.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, underscoring the government's commitment.
On the climate front, we are recovering and rebuilding after the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian. And in the area of trade and culture, we are revolutionizing as the gateway to the Caribbean through the creative industry orange economy. And thanks to the great work of the Honorable Philip Edward Brave Davis and his team, Grand Bahama is on the move.
The Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, reaffirming the government's commitment not only to Grand Bahama, but to giving global prominence to climate change, trade, and investments.
We seek a world in which each nation's voice is a note in a global symphony, where equity guides trade, where justice leads climate action, and where the needs of the many eclipse the ambitions of the few.
The Prime Minister stated that the goal of expanding to global markets is to ensure that every Bahamian prospers and that the country continues to strive. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis-Roll.
Well, the Bahamian High Commissioner to the Court of St. James, His Excellency Paul Gomez, unveiling a new financial governance framework for small island developing states created by the Commonwealth Secretariat and the University of Cambridge, called the Common Pool Asset Structuring System, or COMPAS. His Excellency made the announcement during a panel discussion on climate change during the first official day of Diplomatic Week currently being held in Grand Bahama. The fund, he says, is specifically geared toward those engaging in a business that can help mitigate the threats of climate change.
For small island developing states to essentially provide them with financing and self-reliance. And it targets 19-year-olds to 35-year-olds to provide them with direct climate-friendly funding for projects so that it makes small island developing states less reliable on international lending agencies that have a certain threshold for lending, and also established banks.
His Excellency Gomez says the University of Cambridge is in dialogue with several philanthropists who he says are donating to the project already. He notes youth in the Bahamas will soon have access to the fund.
It is designed to create entrepreneurs in small island developing states. The Bahamas, I will say, is on the cutting edge of rolling this out, and the first country out of the box, right? And the Prime Minister, while we were in Samoa last week, he mentioned COMPAS and that the role that we are going to play.
In other news, diplomats visiting Grand Bahama Island this week for an interactive experience at Conservation Cove, where climate change and environmental sustainability took center stage. The visit providing an opportunity for local and international stakeholders to explore the island's ongoing efforts in climate resilience and conservation. More than 80 local and international diplomats visiting Conservation Cove on Grand Bahama Wednesday, with climate change front and center during this diplomatic week. Founder Rupert Hayward calling it a fitting moment for the global community to engage with Conservation Cove's efforts on climate resilience.
Minister Mitchell has brought all of these thought leaders and powerful people from around the world so that we can tell them our story. And the Prime Minister, I know, spends much of his time, on the international stage talking about the threats of climate change. And climate change is not a local problem, right? It's experienced by everyone around the world, and it's not going to be solved by any one nation. So to bring diplomats from around the world here to Conservation Cove, for them to hear our story, is a powerful way of taking our model and our message and expanding it around the world.
For many, the visit was an interactive experience. Diplomats explored touch tanks, getting hands-on with local sea species. For others, the focus was on learning about critical environmental initiatives like mangrove restoration, queen conch aquaculture, and coral reef preservation.
Even for us, as Bahamian ambassadors, this has been certainly an excellent educational experience. While we would have heard of mangroves, and to see the importance of them, to see them being cultivated and managed in such a controlled environment for replanting is absolutely mind-blowing.
While climate change remains a global challenge, several diplomats highlighting the visit as a chance to build partnerships between nations.
For Australia, where our nearest neighbours are Pacific Island countries, very small islands, very similar to the Caribbean in terms of the issues they're facing, I think there's great opportunity for collaboration between the Caribbean and the Pacific Islands on these sort of issues.
When people are asking me in Trinidad and Tobago where they can go in Grand Bahama, I can say, oh, you must go to Conservation Cove. And it's not only going to be a fun thing, it's going to be educational, sustainable.
Montez Williams, Undersecretary at the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, emphasized that education is key and that such efforts hold the potential to unlock a thriving export market.
It's important for the international community to see some of the wonderful things that we're doing so that we can get some grants and some partnerships and also exposure. As you know, the export market is available for us in the fishing industry.
Well, switching gears now, the Bahamas Department of Immigration in Grand Bahama swearing in new residents of the Bahamas in a ceremony. These 7 new citizens going through a rigorous process to call themselves Bahamians. Minister Alfred Sayers, the Minister of Immigration and National Insurance, said he looks forward to these citizens enhancing the Bahamas with their skills and talents.
I listen to your expression of interest and aspiration. I can see that we have a gifted, truly gifted group of new citizens who will make this country great.
For most of them, it's a new path for them because there are restrictions in terms of getting stuff done. For example, you go right through road traffic. You can't get sometimes something as simple as a driver's license. You can't open a bank account. So now they're able to do the things that you and I take for granted daily.
These new citizens are now excited to call themselves Bahamians while reminiscing on the long process.
This has been a long process. I've lived here since I was a baby, and now I'm married to Bahamian, so we actually applied for citizenship quite a number of years ago. And I'm just so glad that we're finally here. I can finally say that I'm a Bahamian.
It was really long, but I really wanted to say I want to encourage everybody not to give up. I know it's really, really hard.
In other news, healthcare professionals gathered in Grand Bahama Thursday morning for the opening of the Medical and Dental Association's annual conference at Pelican Bay. The event provided a platform for dialogue on critical healthcare challenges and opportunities for improvement, with a strong emphasis on building resilience in the sector across Grand Bahama Island.
And we're committed to doing that, just taking this journey and looking at it as a long-term experience.
The Grand Bahama Medical and Dental Association's annual conference at Pelican Bay, bringing together healthcare professionals to discuss advancements and opportunities to improve the healthcare sector.
Providing healthcare is a collective, and it really requires from time to time all of the parties concerned to get together so that they can have an opportunity to exchange notes, to appreciate exactly what the landscape looks like, and to plan what's in the best interest of healthcare for the communities for the future.
Dr. Digges emphasized that Doctors Hospital is fully committed to advancing healthcare infrastructure in the Northern Bahamas. His presentation, titled Built to Last, focused on the resilience required to overcome this island's unique economic and environmental challenges.
Basically talking about using an experience from New Providence, talking about how we're going to approach growing in Grand Bahama, our capacity with our facilities, our capability with our providers, physician providers, and all of the associates. And then overall becoming a very key part of the direction that healthcare takes in terms of its services provided in Grand Bahama.
Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, and Senator James Turner also attending. Minister Moxie says meaningful progress in healthcare requires collaboration, adding that the government remains focused on improving healthcare infrastructure through various ongoing projects.
We also have the Western Atlantic School, and that's well in progress with reinvestment. There's been reinvestment at Lucaine Medical Center, reinvestment in Sunrise Medical Center. So I think healthcare on Grand Bahama is on the right track. There's been improvements to clinics throughout the island. So I just wanted to be here to continue to herald that we have to work together in order to make things happen.
She says her ministry is satisfied with the strides being made in both healthcare and educational infrastructure.
We spoke about the CoLab unit that has been partnering with many in the public and private sector for major blood drives and other initiatives involving healthcare. And so again, it's just great to see us all working together.
In news from the crime beat, a joint operation between police on Grand Bahama and Bahamas Customs Department leads to drug arrest of a group of men. It was sometime after 3:00 p.m. when officers arrested several men and confiscated a quantity of suspected drugs at a home on Albrook Lane. Preliminary reports indicate that officers executed a search warrant at that location, leading to the discovery of suspected marijuana. 6 male occupants, ages 39, 38, 31, 26, 18, and 17 were taken into police custody. Presently, the weight and street value of the suspected drugs are unknown. However, this matter remains under active investigations.
And still to come.
Jubilee Cathedral entering a new chapter as Bishop Godfrey Williams steps down. We have that story and sports highlights when we return.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank. Built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
It's happy hour at Prop Club Beach in the Grand Lacaille. Join them every Friday and Saturday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for great food and drinks. Open Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and until midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. Don't miss out.
Hummus. It's a grand celebration honoring Apostle Leon Wallace. Friday, November 22nd at Grand Lucayan Resort, Grand Bahama, 6:30 p.m. Admission is free. Love gifts welcome. See you there.
Experience an unforgettable evening at Moonlight on the Bay, a cocktail party under the stars on November 9th at 8 p.m. at Hawksbill Yacht Club. Enjoy live entertainment by D-Mac and the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band. Tickets are $100 with part proceeds supporting the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group. Don't miss the Gathering 2 Fire on the Altar Fresh Wind. Join Walking into Destiny Ministries at Pelican Bay on Saturday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Experience a powerful night of 4 dynamic speakers. For more information, call 458-2573.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. In honor of Mikey Wright's legacy, the Grand Bahama Junkanoo Corporation, in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, is hosting a rush out on Friday, November 8th to bring awareness to cancer, the disease which claimed the life of Mikey and many other Junkanoo legends. The son of Mikey, Malik Wright, and Junkanoo Corporation officials urged the public to come and support a great cause for those who have fallen to the disease.
Now we asked the community at large to come out and support the fight for cancer. We know it's an uphill battle, it's a tough battle for everybody fighting cancer, so we'd like the community at large to come out and give their full support.
We all know someone who have been touched in some way from this dreaded disease, and we are happy to be able to do our part to show support for all the persons that's gone on, as well as those that's fighting the dreaded disease, just to let you know that you have support here. In your fight. We're right here fighting with you.
This is just one of many community endeavors that the Grand Bahama Junkanoo Corporation has undertaken, and it is all with an aim to support the community of Grand Bahama, just as we would like Grand Bahama to support the Junkanoo community.
Officials from the Cancer Society of Grand Bahama and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture reiterating the same sentiment, adding it's also an honor to be a part of this event.
We are asking the community of Grand Bahama to please come out and support the corporation and the organizations and bring a donation to help support the fight for cancer.
We're looking forward to having everyone come out and support the cancer organizations with a small donation, which would be beneficial to our fight against cancer.
Well, in other news, on Friday, November 8th, Jubilee Cathedral will be entering a new chapter in its storied history as Bishop Godfrey Williams will be stepping down as senior pastor, with his son, Pastor Laquez Williams, taking over the senior duties. Bishop Williams says after 43 years of pastoring, he believes his time has come to an end. However, he believes nobody else is more equipped to handle the responsibilities other than his son.
To take over the senior pastor of this organization and those that partner with us. In the person of my son, Laquez Valencino Godfrey Williams, I am very, very excited that he came out of my loins, and I can trust him as God would in terms of leading the people of God to the next dimension.
Pastor Laquez Williams says taking over the duties his father once held is an honor like no other, and he's more than ready to welcome the change.
It's such an honor to serve such great people, talented, wonderful people here at Jubilee Cathedral, and it's an honor, even greater honor, to come on the backs of great shoulders such as my father, Bishop Godfrey Randolph Williams, and my mother, who have been leaders of this ministry, and those who served along with them.
In other news, several U.S. Embassy officials traveling to Grand Bahama to participate in Diplomatic Week 2024. Before the major sessions begin, the organizing body will be hosting a town hall meeting on the island on Monday, November 4th, aimed at educating the public on resources and information to help improve the student visa application process. The meeting took place at the Sir Jack Hewitt Library, where Consular Officer Liana Mering delivered a presentation addressing common challenges many residents face during the application process.
In terms of resources, there's an Education USA space in Nassau. She has the ability to do virtual consultations, and she can help students find the right school for them, help them figure out if there are any scholarships available and any resources available for them to study in the United States. We're planning in the future to have our Education USA advisor travel to the different islands so that we can do in-person advising. But as of right now, you can access that through virtual advising, which is also, you can also check out on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our website.
I hope you enjoy it. I hope you embrace it. And I really hope you come study in the United States of America. It's a great country. I'm really proud to share it with you. And I'm even more proud to represent the United States here in the Bahamas, because I think the Bahamas is pretty awesome too.
Attendees expressed their gratitude for the presentation and the valuable information shared. Many noted that they found the insights helpful and expressed a hope to see the embassy representatives return soon with more updates.
I have a daughter getting ready to head out in January and a son that'll be graduating next year. So the meeting was very informative. It took a lot of the scary parts out of the process. I would recommend it. If they do it again, if anybody's thinking about it, definitely attend the meeting.
I wish she talked a little bit more about work after schooling. I know she was probably limited on time, and a gentleman did ask her about that. But I would have liked her to touch on like OPT and CPT a little bit more, because that was tricky for me at least. But yeah, I think she pretty much hit everything, you know.
And now it is time to ask GBPC.
How does solar power benefit customers?
Thanks for your question. I'm Nikita Mullings, the Chief Operating Officer here at the Grand Bahama Power Company. Here at Grand Bahama Power Company, we remain committed to protecting our customers from the volatility of the fuel market. This solar plant here works to reduce and stabilize the cost of power for all of our customers through managing our fuel costs. What it does is protects us from the volatility of the fuel market as we become less dependent on fossil fuel.
Well, sports is next, but first a look at the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
The Forever Flower Shop. Check out our new selection of artificial flowers and wreaths. Choose stems for your own projects or get a pre-made arrangement as a quick fix to a dull space. If you're a soon-to-be bride, inquire about bulk ordering for floral options that won't break the bank. It's all here at Island Bedding and Furniture, located at number 5 Queens Highway across from Caribbean Veterinary.
It's Football Sundays at Prop Club Beach in the Grand Lacayan. Catch all the action from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. with happy hour deals all day. Great food, cold drinks, and your favorite teams. Call 373-1333 for more info.
Take this opportunity to invite you to be with us right here at Calvary Temple for our Miracle Deliverance, certainly with guest speaker Prophet Kendrick Timbo out of Kentucky and Evangelist Tommy Combs out of Alabama. For the next 2 days, the 9th and the 10th, Saturday 7 p.m., Miracle Deliverance service begins. Sunday morning 10 a.m., Miracle Deliverance service continue. And then on Sunday evening at 7 p.m., the Miracle Deliverance service, the final night.
When you order a large Pizza Hut specialty pizza, you unlock a delicious deal. For a limited time, you can add a small one-topping pizza for just $2 more. Hawaiian, Supreme, barbecue chicken, meat lovers, and more flavors. And for just $2, you can double the deliciousness. But hurry, this mouth-watering twice as nice deal won't last forever. Call Pizza Hut Freeport at 352-9191 today.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with VTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with VTC, wherever your journey takes you.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to sports. Well, teams are off to the races in the IL Cares Tip-Off Basketball Classic. Matthew Barton-Burrows got all the details and highlights in this report.
After a welcoming ceremony with multiple government officials, high school basketball is back under the lights here in St. George's Gymnasium, starting off here with the IL Cares Tip-Off Classic.
Game 1 saw the reigning champs, the Sunland Baptist Academy Stingers, defeating the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays 51-19.
We're going to get every team's best shot. We expect that. The guys are prepared for it.
In Game 2, the Tabernacle Baptist Falcons defeating Study Hall Academy 51-10.
This year we want to put an emphasis on defense. As you know, that's been a struggle for us the last few years, but we'll be ready to go this year.
And in Game 3, the St. George's Jaguars getting the best of the Bishop Michael Eldon Warriors 35-19. Games resume at the St. George's Gymnasium with tip-off at 4 p.m. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Matthew Martin-Burrow.
Next in sports, girls action getting underway in the Jimmy Comer Keith Mullings Primary Basketball League. The Hugh Campbell Hornets took on Wilbur Howden Academy, and the Hornets would prevail, taking that one by a final score of 9-5. The Lewis Yard Primary Eagles got off to a hot start. They had shut out the BMES Warriors by a final score of 20-0. And the Freeport Primary Conquerors had no issues knocking off the Moismont Raccoons. They go on to win that one by a final score of 11-0. And lastly, in sports, squads from high school volleyball championships over in Bimini. The Senior Girls Championship Series is now all tied at 2 games apiece, with the Gateway Christian Academy Eagles defeating the Louis McDonald's Marlins 2-0. They rolled to a 21-9 victory in the first set before closing the game out 21-17 in the second.
And that's your check on sports, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs. Don't go anywhere. Your Facebook friend of the day is up next.
Experience an unforgettable evening at Moonlight on the Bay, a cocktail party under the stars on November 9th at 8 p.m. at Hawksbill Yacht Club. Enjoy live entertainment by DMAC and the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band. Tickets are $100 with part proceeds supporting the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group. Portobello's at the Grand Lacayan invites everyone to a Thanksgiving celebration. Enjoy Sunday brunch on November 24th or Thankful Thursday on November 28th with a buffet and live entertainment. For more details and reservations, call 373-1333.
This is where it happens. Those moments that impact our lives. Giving you the information that you need this hurricane season. Wherever there is news, we're there.
Your number one team in the north. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that is going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight comes your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, will small island developing states gain ground with its fight for climate change? The Prime Minister and an academic scholar weigh in. Also, a man believed to be behind a rash of serious crimes is tonight behind bars, but there's no guarantee he'll remain there for now. And the newest member of the upper chamber takes her seat, making her maiden speech. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The government continues to tout its plans to reform the country's antiquated and enormously expensive energy sector. Work's underway, and the administration is seeing some successes. And as Corval Pyfrom reports, a two-day summit got started today, which the government says will mobilize and engage its energy partners.
Energy Minister Colby Davis kicking off this energy summit, attempting to silence critics by talking up loudly the accomplishments of BPL's new management firm, Pike Corporation. Since being on the ground here in New Providence for the past 3 months, the minister reports significant progress has been made.
129 electric poles have been framed and set in the ground. About 40,000 feet of electric cable has been reconductored. 13 interrupters have been installed to reduce the chances of widespread outages, and 49 streetlight poles have either been replaced or newly installed. In addition, they are partnered with BPL to perform over 1,000 hours of trouble work and responded to more than 50 outages.
On the sidelines of the two-day event taking place at the Baha Mar Convention Center, Minister Colby Davis was still beaming about the reforms the administration is undertaking to fix the country's energy woes. With new advancement and technologies coming on stream almost daily, we cannot afford, the minister says, to be in the dark.
You know, it's very fast-paced. Technologies come online every day almost for new technologies in the energy sector. And so as you continue to keep up to date with the advancement in technology, you will see some parts of your reform go towards a direction that is maybe new. And so you always have to be ready to leapfrog when it comes to the energy sector.
Energy reform is among the Davis administration's top priorities and pledges. Opening the summit, Prime Minister Philip Davis reiterating his government's commitment to getting it done.
Our approach to reforming the energy sector
It's not just about patching things up or offering temporary fixes. We are putting in place a full suite of policies and investments to make long-lasting change.
This reform comes at a high cost, but doing nothing, Mr. Davis asserts, would be catastrophic.
To understand the challenges we face, we must acknowledge the reality. Our electricity infrastructure is aging. Some parts of it are over 50 years old, dating back to a time when our nation was still on the path to independence.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Well, it's still more than 2 months before newly elected U.S. President Donald Trump takes the oath of office and returns to the White House. But already concerns are being raised about how the Bahamas will be impacted by the new administration's new policies, particularly relating to climate change.
The Republicans have not really been on that climate change bandwagon, and Glenn, you know, so how is that going to play out now? Now with Trump on the world stage, I'm kind of skeptical about climate justice really being something that we could benefit from over the next 4 years.
That, of course, University of the Bahamas Executive VP Dr. Ian Strawn appearing last night on the program The Rundown, where he reminded that President-elect Trump has been a vocal skeptic about global warming, even at times threatening to withdraw U.S. financial support from global initiatives to combat this world crisis. Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, today playing down these concerns, noting that even without President Trump, the world has been dragging its feet to address this issue.
So he speaks for his country, and you know, I don't blame all this on him. Don't forget now, the meeting of the parties, which are the leaders of the world, have been going on for this will be the 29th year, and he's only been around for the last 10 years, and we're still no further ahead than we were 29 years ago. So that's why our voices continue to agitate and advocate for meaningful action to curb the impact and the effects of the consequence of climate change, which is devastating not just small island developing states, but even the larger countries in the world.
We also got a progress report today on the government's Clear Hold and Build initiative within the Angliston community. And this is the Prime Minister and police officials toured once crime spots. Desmond Saunders has that story.
Since the program's launch 3 weeks ago, the Clear Hold and Build initiative has reaped enormous dividends in enhancing public safety and reducing violent crime in the Angliston community. Some 20 derelict vehicles have been removed. 25 areas known as hotspots for crime have been cleared. Police also making a number of arrests and dismantling violent crime.
We came in over the past 3 weeks, headed by Assistant Superintendent Mikhail Pinder. We have cleared. We were holding at the same time we were clearing, and not just clearing properties and moving away derelict vehicles, but we were disrupting and targeting gang activity, gang members, gang leaders. All right, we did aggressive stop and search. We executed several warrants on their homes. You know, it was our job to come in and disrupt them, to drive them out of this community. And because of that, as a result of all of this that was going on, we have seen the reduction in major crime.
Now, 8 of the country's murders this year occurred in the Angliston community. Prime Minister Davis quite pleased with the progress of Clear Hold and Build. He says it's a fulfillment of the government's overall crime-fighting strategy.
This is a holistic approach. This is not just the police. This is social services. This is Ministry of Works. This is urban renewal. This is small home repairs. And all hands are on deck in this endeavor. And it is hope that this will continue throughout the Bahamas, and particularly New Providence, and this is also designed to lift up that aspect of our 5-point plan in the fight against crime, what I call rehabilitation, not rehabilitation, but rather prevention. Because if we can do these things, where criminal activities are discouraged, where there's no haven.
We've been looking at clearing the lots, as she said, moving the vehicles. We're looking at street lighting. We're looking at speed bumps, so people who don't live here don't come speeding through when children in the streets. We're looking at dealing with potholes and all of these issues which are the physical environment, which are critical.
Now, this is a multi-agency initiative that will be duplicated in other communities in the country, a zero-tolerance approach, and all hands on deck in reducing violent crime in the Bahamas. Here in the Angliston community, Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. There's more news in a moment.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meal with large size. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers and reach. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with BTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with BTC, wherever your journey takes you.
Man, this ain't making no sense, man. How people making it out there, Dre? If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you gotta learn how to budget. First, write down all of your income. Then, list out all of your expenses. And don't forget to save. Stop throwing away money. Put something aside for savings. And get this, government savings bonds can safely grow your money. So start budgeting, save your coins, and invest smart. Financial independence, wait. Financial independence, wait. Learn how to invest in government savings bonds on the Central Bank of the Bahamas website.
$10 deal. Available only at Marco Southwest, Prince Charles Village Road, and Robinson Road. Man, let me see what it's about. I'll take 20 of those, please. Wait. You good? Yeah, bro. Marcos, get this new deal. Get yourself a large one-topping pizza for only $10. $10? Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, I need 30 of them $10 carry-out pizza deal, please.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
You're looking at a shot of the Bahama Resort on Cable Beach. Welcome back. A man arraigned in a magistrate's court today in connection with 2 murders this past September. It's alleged that Mitchell Fox, concerned with others, intentionally and unlawfully caused the death of Eddie Miller. On Thursday, September 5th, 2024, the 28-year-old was also charged with conspiracy to commit Miller's murder, and the charges don't end there. There are also allegations of the attempted murder of Rodlin Henfield and Sharon Thompson. The alleged incidents occurring on Sunday, September 1st, 2024. Fox was prosecuted by Inspector Dion Barr. He was represented by attorney Alfonso Lewis. He was not allowed to enter a plea to the charge. Now, Magistrate Roberta Reckley informed him that the matter would proceed via a voluntary bill of indictment. Until then, Fox was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. However, he has the right to apply to the Supreme Court for bail. His VBI is to be served on April 10th, 2025. Well, now the news from Parliament. The business of the Senate resuming today with members debating legislation that moves the Urban Renewal Authority a step closer to being implemented. Leading things off, Government Senate Leader, the Honorable Michael Alcides, stressed that a cure to solve challenges with urban communities won't happen overnight, as it takes time to filter through the root causes. While Opposition Senator, the Honorable Michael Barnett Ellis, calls for more transparency within the program.
Access to education, access to affordable, decent, livable housing, access to our social services, access to healthcare facilities, all of those things, and doing it at a community level, Madam President.
We must ensure that funds are used responsibly and that projects are designed with communities in mind if we hope to achieve sustainable urban progress in the Bahamas. This draft legislation, if properly actioned, can substantially reform the administration of the Urban Renewal Program.
Now, seconding the bill, the upper chamber's newest member, Senator J.Ann Major, who acknowledged the proposed legislation is critical to strengthening and improving urban renewal and, by extension, the quality of life in designated urban communities.
Strengthening our communities, especially our most marginalized communities, is the key to a thriving society. By revitalizing these neighborhoods, we can also attract residents back to the inner cities, where housing options will generally be more affordable because they feel safe, not because they don't have any other options.
Well, arguably the most tragic plane crash the nation has had to come to grips with. 10 years after the tragedy, 2 of the 9 lives lost on that fateful day of November 9th, 2014, were today honored with a full display of memorabilia that will become a permanent fixture at a local institution. Our Daniel Dean takes it from here.
These were scholars, these were learned men, these were philosophers, and their literary exploits is such that it ought to be emulated and ought to be showcased.
The legacy of former Bahamas Faith Ministries International executives, the late Dr. Miles Monroe and Richard Pinder, will live on at the University of the Bahamas. On display, sentimental and personal items belonging to the 2 internationally known leaders in the Christian faith, including bow ties, jewelry, and a Bible removed from the crash site.
And I think it's so important to be here at UB because they were nation builders and they were men that spoke to our youth. And so having their memorabilia here to make sure that persons know who they are, know what they did, and the information that they can learn from them, I think is very important.
Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin recalled the moment she learned about the crash.
I'm actually related to one of them, the wife of Parks. But you know, it was just a shock. I mean, I knew Miles Monroe for a very long time, Dr. Miles, and so it was just a very, I just can't explain it. It was just sort of unbelievable that someone so impactful, so prominent, so powerful could just disappear like that. But that's life.
Of the extensive list of wise words from the late Dr. Miles Monroe, his daughter Carissa Monroe said these are some of the ones she lives by, adding she hopes others will too.
One of the quotes that I will never forget, he said to me when I was young, to when he died, nothing named can't. There's nothing that you can't do. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to do, your heart to do, your hands to do. It's die empty. I will do all that I can to not just die, but finish my work, finish my purpose, finish what God has put me here to do, to make sure that I rob the grave of anything you think it's going to get from me.
Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Tonight, the start of what's been described as the launch of a transformative movement towards continuing the work of the Apostles of Christ. The event, being held at the Living Waters Kingdom Ministries, dubbed The Movement, will be 2 nights of powerful praying, praise, and deliverance aimed at empowering the body of Christ for marketplace ministry. Organizer and senior pastor at Host Church Living Waters, Apostle Raymond Wells, says the movement looks to impact the 7 mountains of influence, including family, religion, education, entertainment, media, and business.
In prayer,
in fellowship, in breaking of bread, and in signs and wonders. And we'll also have that awesome responsibility to keep the fivefold, or what we call the 5 ascension gifts, the leading gifts, relevant in the church. The apostle, the prophet, the evangelist, the pastor, and the teacher.
Tomorrow night, Apostle Wells will deliver the charge. He's accompanied by a number of other prominent faith leaders, including Apostles Paul Butler, Leon Wallace, Carlos Reed, Ed Watson, and Christopher Russell. All, though, are welcomed, he says, for this amazing, transformative experience.
You have churches, if I call some of the names, you probably will be shocked, of the churches, the young pastors and leaders who are a part of this movement, who want to be a part of something that is relevant and that is committed to transforming our communities, because that's one of the things we're going to be doing as well, committed to helping our communities.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
It's good to be alive this holiday season. Alive is partnering with Western Air to bring 4 lucky Bahamian students home for the holidays for free. If you're a student studying in Florida, all you have to do is share a creative video showing us why it's good to be home for the holidays with the hashtags.
It's good to be home and it's good to be alive.
And don't forget to check out our live social media pages and bealive.com to see if you're eligible.
It's good to be alive when things free.
And it's even better to be home for the holidays.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy 1 box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Aquinas College teams up with BSGC for this year's Thanksgiving food distribution, where the goal is to feed 25,000 individuals throughout the Bahamas. The school's preparing to distribute 500 of those meals. Now, one of the students, Savannah Ritchie, who's been involved with the food distribution for 2 years, shares her experience and what she looks forward to cooking this year.
My experience was good. I got to work at different areas in the kitchen, dealing with the stuffing, the turkey. The process was really nice, and it felt good to be able to give back to my community. But when cooking stuffing, some people would put water in it. I don't normally put water. I would use butter to give it a moist texture rather than water. So I'd cook it with onions, sweet peppers, spices, tomatoes, all that good stuff. Today I'm looking forward to cooking ham. I can't remember us. I don't remember us cooking ham last year. So I'm looking forward to cooking ham, some more turkey, and like Dr. Marshall said, this year we're doing 500 plates.
The school's involvement highlighting the importance of its collective efforts and compassion, especially during the holiday season.
Gives them an opportunity to learn and to understand what it's like to give back to the less fortunate. And some of them really didn't understand it, but after going through all of it and had the experience, they appreciate it now. They can understand what it's all about. It's giving back. So for persons out there, our former students who want to help, who did last year, maybe others who didn't have the opportunity, we're doing much more this year, so we're looking for your support. Come out and help us in the kitchen.
Well, it's about that time that is, to check in with LaDonna and Marcellus to get a sneak peek of Access Now.
Because, well, let me tell you, Wendy's is having a promotion, and guess what you can win? Guess what, Marcellus? Guess what you can win?
Okay, what?
A brand new car. And I know you and
I feel like the price is right.
I know you and
brand new
car. Sign me up. Sign me up. Stay with us. Our feature story is up next.
Legacy of Leadership. Join the International Third World Leadership Association for Legacy Weekend, November 8th to the 9th. November 8th, Legacy Leadership Lecture, honoring global leader. November 9th, Legacy Walk to Remember. Join us for the Legacy Reunion Concert.
Hey guys, it's Yolanda Adams. It's about to be a celebration, November 8th through the 10th at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center. I can't wait to see you. Come on.
Visit itwla.com for details. Don't miss Legacy Weekend.
Experience the difference with BTC's fixed services. Whether you're working from home or enjoying family time, BTC ensures you're always in touch with the people and moments that count. BTC isn't just a service, it's a lifestyle. Stay connected, stay inspired, and live your best life. BTC.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Preschoolers at You Learn Daycare taking in much more than their alphabet and colors over the past few weeks, but the importance of lending a hand to those in need. A grateful parent, the recipient of a fundraiser initiated by staffers. Our Daniel Dean has more.
Urbanisha Newton's cancer diagnosis became known to school administrators when her daughter Imani started attending the school just last year.
When I was told that I would have been the person who would, receive the funds from the Cancer Awareness Month, I basically was overjoyed. I was overwhelmed because I have a lot of bills that I have to pay currently that, pile up on me over the course of probably about a year.
Raising the most funds, preschooler Amai Pinder. Her parents say it's important their daughter learns the importance of giving back.
I'm currently an accident emergency officer, senior house officer at the Princess Margaret Hospital. We see patients like this every day, people who are diagnosed and undiagnosed. And I think it's one thing to just, administer treatment and to just get in history, and it's another thing to say, hey, I want to take an active part in your treatment outside of the emergency room.
I think it's amazing. I think it's very important as parents to, teach them the value of giving back and helping and doing what they can at a very young age, and so I'm very proud of her.
School administrator Pauline McAlpin, having been on an 11-year journey with cancer herself, knows the struggle all too well.
I believe in all my heart that the disease doesn't kill anybody. The lack of support, the lack of finances, so all that stress on your body really would take you out. So that motivates me to to ask the parents to do it, and we made it a fun venture.
Ms. Newton says the funds will go a long way, and she's awaiting a bone marrow biopsy and mass removal surgery tomorrow. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dane.
Well, thanks, Danielle, and that does it for the National Report. But before we leave, we want to wish a happy birthday to Marie Coakley. That's the mother of our very own Gerald Coakley. And of course, birthday greetings also go out to our chief meteorologist, Basil Dean. Happy birthday to both of you. But stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
The Ministry of Agriculture launched Coconut 360 recently to maximize coconut utilization and provide standardized stalls for vendors in New Providence, enhancing sustainability, creating uniform appearances, and boosting local vendor opportunities.
I know many of you would have gone to Awaki and you would have gone on to Hornsby. All vendors there, they pay rent to the government. So we want to give you these stalls, but we have to rent them to you.
That's Permanent Secretary Neil Campbell, who communicated Minister Jomo Campbell's vision for this project. He added that the ministry will also look into granting vendors the proper permissions to operate their businesses.
At some places now, on the side of the road, you're on people's property, or you're on the verges where you don't have permission to be. So we can help you with your licensing and granting your permits. Environmental health come in the spec and everything else because we need sanitary conditions in order for you to sell.
The ministry also wants to offer money for the parts of the coconut that's usually discarded through a public-private partnership.
It is intended that we give you 2 bins. One bin you can have your coconuts in, which you'll be using. And as you use those ones, the ones you want to discard, you will then throw that into the other bin. Once you have the ones that you're discarding or you already used in that particular bin, a gentleman will come and he will collect that bin from you. Right? That bin every week, as first, and the gentleman takes it away, you get $10.
The vendors in attendance expressed their excitement for this initiative.
The meeting was productive. I see that it's now the point where the government and also the Ministry of Agriculture is trying to take this industry, which is very, very vital to the economy.
The meeting was good, and I'm glad that the government come together with the coconut vendors, because the police really was fooling with us and whatever, so we really happy for the government to come together and really concerned about us and concerned about how important the coconut water is.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Well, the kiddies have been sworn in as junior local government officials. The details straight ahead.
And if you think that's cute, how about the Wendy's Upgrade My Ride kickoff? Stay close for that.
Plus, the Rotary Club continues to do its part, this time down in Inagua on Vision Kit.
And coming up in sports, the Aces deal with Temple Christian in high school basketball.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Marcellus Hall.
And I'm LaDawn Davis. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight. Access now.
Well, Christmas is coming fast, LaDawn. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Marcellus. I am getting there, Marcellus. So Christmas is just 48 days away. Have you started buying those Christmas gifts yet, or you're not?
That would be incorrect. On that note, it's safer to dive right into the news. And as we get started tonight, the Junior Local Government Program has a whole new slate of council members. Anatole Rogers Senior High School came alive today, and our Danielle Dean was there to capture the moment.
9 local government junior members at the Anatole Rogers Senior High School were sworn in today by student voters who trust they will implement strategies that will benefit them. Family Island Affairs Minister, the Honorable Clay G. Sweeting, wants the process to teach students leadership.
Youth involvement is something that we're passionate about, and being here shows the people that the young persons in the school that we care about them, that we support them, and we're a part of the process. Hopefully they didn't promise their voters too much, because one thing you got to do is if you promise your voters something, you got to come through with it. We look to see what their plans are for the future of the school.
Well, some of them are proving their preparation by hitting the ground running and detailing their plans to act as early as next week.
My name is Richard Bain. I am in 12R1 and I was elected to Deputy Chief Counselor. The Student Innovation Fund, we pitch ideas like basketball games, volleyball games, and dances, where students come in, they pay $3 to $5, and we use the funds. We save it up only for students. Basketball trips, volleyball trips, whenever they want to go abroad, we can use those.
My name is Jaden Burrows, and I am in grade 11. I am a junior council member. We would like to try to get funds into the schools, try to get more funds, because as you can see, it's very hot. It is. It feels like 100 degrees out here, so we would like to try to get funds.
Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
It's not every day that grabbing lunch could mean a shot at a new ride. Wendy's is drawing crowds with its Upgrade My Ride promotion, offering customers the chance to win a car with every purchase. We caught up with Wendy's representative Jade Shallow to find out more about the promotion.
So this is a collaboration with Coca-Cola, and this is just our chance to, give back to our customers and show how much we appreciate them for, just being loyal customers, visiting us for breakfast, lunch, even dinner time.
To participate, customers simply need to make a purchase at Wendy's after scanning a QR code, fill out the form, and you're automatically entered into the drawing for an opportunity into the semifinals. Ultimately, the chance to win.
You have until December 19th to enter to win. For customers that haven't won the car, we also are giving away Apple products. So you have a chance to win a brand new iPhone 16, an iPad, AirPods, you name it, we have it.
So if you're craving a bite and could use a car upgrade, now might be the perfect time to swing by Wendy's. And still to come, Bahamas International Film Festival is in the house. Leslie and Charlie Bahama, so keep it locked.
Let the competition begin. The Ethan S. Bain Environmental Health Foundation, in conjunction with the Ministry of Education, gears up for the first environmental speech competition for public junior high school students in New Providence. Founder Jacqueline Bain gives us the details.
It's being held at CC Sweeting on November the 6th at 6 p.m. And we will have distinguished guests from the Ministry of Education, parents, and the 10 finalists. And I think it's very fitting because we need to raise the awareness on the environmental issues in our country. It's very essential. We have 8 junior high schools participating with 24 participants. We have a preliminary round where the elimination takes place, and on the date of the 6th of November is when the finalists, the 10 finalists, will be presenting.
The foundation's director, Anthony Roberts, expands more on the purpose of the competition.
The purpose of the debate is to put out in the high schools how important it is, or how important the environment is, and how it is an integral, to use that word again, part of our existence. When we do debates of this sort, we have young people coming up, seeing it, and again, bottling or shaping it in a way that other young people can understand what is happening.
I'm Adama Williams for Ed Talk.
Don't get tricked this Halloween. Treat yourself to the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.15. Nesca yellow grits, 1 pound, $1.39. Kraft mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $6.99. Sweet strawberries, 1 pound, $5.99. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Wrap up October with the scary good prices at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Shot of Bahama Games Boulevard right here. A drone shot provided by our drone pilot, Destiny Reed, who's out there flying. And speaking of flying, let's take a flight down to Onagua now to see what's happening there.
Family Island News is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
The Rotary Club of Nassau's Vision and Health Expo touched down recently in Inagua, performing vision screenings on the students of the Inagua All-Age School. On the second day of the expo, students were offered dental, hearing screenings, and further eye examinations for those who needed glasses. All of this while parents were able to get blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol testings. Children were also given treat bags that included fruits, snack bars, water, toothbrushes, and toothpaste. Kudos to the Rotary Club of Nassau for this amazing community work. Marcellus?
All right, thanks so much, Aldon. Well, agreed. Kudos right there to the Rotary Club of Nassau for great work in Inagua. Well, the Bahamas International Film Festival is a non-profit film festival birthed in the Bahamas. Joining us tonight are its president, Leslie Vanderpool, and actor and producer, Charlie Bahama. Welcome to the show, and this is, of course, the home of entertainment. This is what we do here. So how are you doing?
Great. We're excited to have a film festival next week, Wednesday, and we're going to open with They Call Me Peanuts, and Charlie Bahama and Kevin Taylor's film.
All right.
And we have so many films that we're showing from all over the world, 40 plus films. And it's going to be all at Bahamar, at the Bahamar New Providence Lawn Pavilion. Bahamar is constructing a beautiful pavilion for us, strictly for the film festival, where we'll show all of our films and panels and master classes, so you can learn the nuts and bolts of filmmaking. And the way to get tickets are go to our website, bintlfilmfest.com, or you can just Google the Bahamas International Film Festival and find out how to buy the tickets and look at our schedule of events. And we're excited to have people like Netflix, Amazon, producers who've actually made top grossing films around the, so it's going to be a conference or a celebration of cinema in paradise.
Yeah, so what year did this all come about? This is
our 19th anniversary.
Really?
Well, it would have been 20, but COVID happened. And so it's our 19th year in person. We did a virtual event during that pandemic, but right now we have where everything's in person, and Kevin Taylor is here. I'm sorry, Charlie Smith's here. Edgar Seligman.
Kevin looks a little different today.
The Edgar Seligman, the producer of a film called Eddie Minnis, Ting and Ting. So we have incredible Bahamian films that we're showing. The Life of Eddie Minnis is a documentary about it's a world premiere in the Bahamas. And we're You want to talk about your film, They Call Me Peanuts?
It's two. So, I mean, because we have, I mean, so we got all the greats of music. I mean, you know, we all know Peanuts Taylor. Maybe the young folks out there don't know.
Right.
But we can you know, learn
Educate
them today.
on that, right? Yeah.
So we got Peanuts Taylor and then Eddie Minnis. I mean, Eddie Minnis is a treasure, okay? So y'all come out, you're going to see the life, the music, the art of Eddie Minnis and Peanuts Taylor. Peanuts
We're going to have a
kicks it off.
celebration after the film of They Call Me Peanuts, and it's a tribute to Peanuts. And then the Eddie Minnis is Friday at 8:15 at Bahamar next Friday.
Okay, sounds pretty exciting. So what are the actual, give us the dates and times again?
The dates in Nassau are November 13th through the 17th.
Okay.
And we take it to Eleuthera. We're going to Rock Sound November 18th to the 19th. And Harbor Island from the 20th to the 22nd. So all of the best films are going to travel the islands of the Bahamas.
Sounds truly exciting.
What's cool about this is it's international films and Bahamian films.
I was about to ask that.
Oh, yeah, no, this is international films. So, I mean, Bahamians can come on out to see, you know, films from around the world, the top films from around the world and around the region, the Caribbean. But, you know, for me, you know, the Bahamas is, you know, I'm Charlie Bahamas, so everything is Bahamas for me. So just Eddie Minnis. I mean, listen, Eddie Minnis hasn't been doing things, you know, publicly for 30 years. That concert they had a couple of weeks ago, packed to the bone. People, old, young, black, white, yellow,
and now
pink.
we're celebrating him with the film.
With the film?
And,
oh my gosh.
So what the Bahamas International Film Festival does, it actually celebrates independent cinema. And for the Bahamian filmmakers who attend, and also those international filmmakers who attend, they rub shoulders with the who's who in the industry, and it actually catapults their career. So they get a lot of exposure, and they hopefully get distribution opportunities and get picked up by major streaming companies like Netflix or Amazon. So we're excited to have them here. And then we're going to have a masterclass on acting. Dorian Missick and Simone Missick are going to be teaching that masterclass on Wednesday, November 13th at 5 to 7. So there's a lot of panels, a lot of masterclasses, a lot of ways to actually learn the industry. And you just can look on our website, see what films you want. It's quite easy. You read the description and you press buy a ticket. And the tickets are $18 to see a film.
Good price.
Very affordable. And our opening night and our special screenings are $75. And we're paying tribute to other charities like Brief. We're showing a film called Ocean's Rose, and also Operations Pot Cake. So that's another way that we're bringing awareness. So the film festival, we celebrate cinema, but we also raise awareness to other causes through film.
Charlie, I got before we go, Charlie. I mean, this is where it all started for you. Am I right?
Yeah, right on this stage. Just so you all know, half the people out there are too young, but I had Electric Air, a TV show right here on ZNS for 10 years.
That's
Electric Air. We had everybody on from Beyonce, Biggie Smalls, Michael Jackson, of course, all the greats like Eddie Minnis is on, Ronnie Butler's. But right here, the couch is right there, Michelle Malcolm. I came in, we came back, you know, behind the scenes to show them how you did a show on ZNS. So we had that all access. Electric Air, right here, boy. It started right here.
It's great
I'm home.
It's great to have the greats of cinema here in our country. You know, we have to celebrate those filmmakers who are doing great things. And Edgar, who's our producer, and he actually is the one who's raising the funds, who's trying to make it all happen and package the film. And the dedication that he has to the actual stories of the Bahamas, it's such a great opportunity to see the future of cinema within the Bahamas really being taken to the next level.
And just a FYI, we have the, you know, he's the one behind Eddie Minnis Ting and Ting, right? The executive producer. But we have a new film we're already working on right now. We're shooting. So.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, we can't say nothing right now. Just on the
All right.
Denise Productions doing that.
So guys, it's been a pleasure to have you come on the show tonight. All the best in the film festival.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to big things. Appreciate you all coming by.
Thank you.
Man. Hey, coming up in sports for tonight, high school baseball has been going along despite the bad weather. We'll tell you how a game went yesterday, just ahead in sports.
The Whopper with cheese never tasted so good. 100% flame grilled beef, now juicier. With fresh ingredients as usual. And even fluffier buns. The the Whopper with cheese. Bigger, better, tastier. Get a regular combo for only $9. Only at Burger King Nassau.
I've been a J.S. Johnson customer for over 15 years. This was the first and only insurance company I've ever been with since I was a teen. And the reason I stayed is because they treat everyone like family, like literally. They greet you from the door, walk you inside. You can have a nice little conversation. They treat you like family. I love it. I would definitely recommend J.S. Johnson to anybody. J.S. Johnson, that's where it's at.
Keeping you on a budget. Great food changes everything. Shop at your local Solomon's for food, for family, for you.
Well, welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. The high school baseball season has been plodding along. That's because bad weather has forced a lot of cancellations and reschedulings. That being said, they did try to get some action in yesterday over at the Blue Hills playing field. Amajal Knowles was there. He tells us the story. Temple Christian, and they put on a good show yesterday. I got to say, I'm very proud of Temple Christian yesterday, getting a job done, and again, just outstanding baseball action. Here's their coach right now. This is Ronaldo Knowles. Used to be a volleyball player, now playing softball, baseball, getting the action there. So he's pretty proud of his guys, again, picking up a nice win yesterday, and you know, just trying to see if they can get through this season. Is the association right now, because they've had so many games pushed back due to the rain. We do apologize for audio issues on this particular story, unable to get that to you, but just again, just a good way to see baseball continue in the high schools and trying to get through. So as we mentioned, just really trying to push things through, and baseball, as you mentioned, still going on, and just trying to get to this regular season action. They've had so many games lost, and now just trying to really finish things off as best as possible. This is, I think, the final week of regular season, and then they'll get right into the playoffs, which is scheduled for next week at various locations. They've been playing at the Blue Hills playing fields. They've been playing at the St. Andrews fields, and they've also been playing at Freedom Farm, again, weather permitting. But so far, it's been difficult, to say the least, but just happy to see it going on. Well, that's our check on sports for you here this evening. Of course, we do have our weather report just around the corner, so stay with us.
The Anchor Awards is quickly approaching. Come and celebrate our amazing fishers who keep us stocked with the best from the sea. Get your tickets at ticketflare.com/Anchor Awards. Click Buy Tickets. The tickets are only $60. Click the amount, and boom, a QR code will be emailed directly to you.
See you there at Bahama, November 16th at the Convention Center. Come on out, let's support our Legends of the Sea.
Birthday. He's an Eleuthera and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right. Eleuthera for tomorrow? No problem.
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof, from electrical,
paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supply, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here, so for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have got more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a club, and I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now. Thanks.
We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street, open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you can be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in your car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It's a diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
It's time for your Access Weather Forecast and our live weather radar showing some shower and thunderstorm activity associated with a strong tropical wave to the northeast of Puerto Rico that is pushing towards the west and should bring some showers to the southeast Bahamas over the weekend. Meanwhile, Hurricane Rafael remains out there in the Gulf of Mexico, continuing to push towards the west and away from our area. And this is the forecast track, which has changed. We initially anticipated that it would turn towards the northeast, but instead it's going to be turning towards the south, and that will take it back into the Central America area. And now for your boating forecast, which is brought to you by Live Business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. In the northwestern islands, tonight through Saturday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide will occur at 11:54 tonight, with a low tide at 5:54 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands, also through Saturday, the easterly winds will remain in place, but the wind's still a bit strong, 15 to 25 knots, and the wave heights 5 to 8 feet. So we do have an advisory in place for boaters in the central and southeastern islands right through Saturday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Way down south, there's a place I know. Home of the white hog and donkey and flamingo. Land of the salt, the sunshine and sea. And Aqua Island is the place to be. And once you get a taste, man, you gon' get hope.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Marcellus Underdon.
All right, thanks so much, birthday boy. Clouds, clouds, and more clouds. There might be a little sunshine tomorrow, though, and maybe Saturday.
Some sunshine indeed, and you know I love sunshine, right? But with all of that sunshine, let's go to Matea Cunningham with Let's Talk Socials.
Hey everyone, I'm Matea and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. Yes, you heard that right. Today on Let's Talk Socials, we are jumping into the world of real estate. Believe it or not, real estate has been trending on social media in the Bahamas for quite some time now. From young, dynamic real estate agents creating engaging content to new homeowners sharing valuable advice, real estate has pulled up a seat at the social media table. The best part, it proves that social media isn't just about the laughs. It's packed with free, informative content too. Isn't it exciting to know that there's real, knowledgeable content available right at our fingertips? Check out some of these clips.
Check out this $3,200 rental in West Ridge, Bahamas. Speed tour. Keep up, cameraman. So here, we have a nice little front room where you can have the family movie nights. If you don't have a family, I'm sorry.
This is what $550,000 gets you in the Bahamas. Let's go take a look.
Look in my eyes, tell me your tale. Do you see the road that matches my soul? Tell me the stars whenever the smoke clear out of my face and my picture perfect.
Biggest advice or anything I can give to someone who's young or who's looking to do this for themselves in the future would definitely be, you gotta save a lot. So what I did starting off was that I just saved like 10% of the budget that I wanted to look for. I tried to look at the distressed properties, y'all, but I couldn't find anything.
I'm curious, have any of these creators or topics popped up on your feed? Let us know. I'm Matea, and this has been Let's Talk Socials.
All right, thanks so much, Matea. Well, this is where we get off the train, LaDawn.
It's our stop, and also happy birthday goes out to our very own chief meteorologist, Basil Dean, and I think Gerald Coakley as well.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Yeah, Gerald's her birthday as well. So happy birthday to both of you guys. We hope you have a good one. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars, and then forget about them until the next Members of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
I don't know, but what kind of cars is this parking lot? You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park, just don't park in the handicap spot.
Yeah, that's handicap.
No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot.
I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long.
Handicap spot,
Boy, what's going on, dog?
I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way park here,
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro. And he got a sticker inside that say, this mud, though. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot.
That's what we gotta move.
But we gotta move. Don't, we can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to march down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys' waiter today. Can I take your order?
At the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, I'm Marcellus Hall. This is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Good evening. I'm Julian Reed, and this is The Rundown. I'm guest hosting for Clint Watson. Climate change, you've heard it time and time again. But what does it really mean, and what are all the elements about it? Well, tonight, we're going to talk about all things related to the environment. The science, the practical, all of it. My special guest is Dr. Rihanna Neely, who is the Director of Environmental Planning and Protection. You'll hear it all right after this.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh
We play just like your kids. We text just like your kids. We learn. We even cook. We take selfies. We have hobbies. And we love sports. In every way, we are just like everyone else and enjoy the same things and live our lives every day, just like you do. So if you happen to meet us, treat us just like everyone else. Because at the end of the day, we're just like you. Living life with Down syndrome is simply living. To learn more about Down syndrome, call 727-2105. This message is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Down Syndrome Society.
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof. From electrical, paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supply, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here. So for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have given more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a glove, and I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now. Thanks.
We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street. Open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Welcome back. Climate change. You've heard it over and over and over again. Do you really understand what it is all about? And do you realize that there's so many other aspects about the environment? My special guest will give you so much information tonight that you'll enjoy it. She's Dr. Rihanna Neely, and she is the Director of Environmental Planning and Protection. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Great. We call it DEP. What does DEP do?
So the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection is responsible for everything environmental in the Bahamas. We regulate the full 100,000 square miles of Bahamian landscape and seascape. We're responsible for regulating development, environmental research, multilateral environmental agreements, the whole gamut. Anything that is environment, we're responsible. And
people always hear about these EIAs, the Environmental Impact Assessment. That's something you are controlling as well.
That is definitely one of the main things that we do. We passed the legislation of the Environmental Planning and Protection Act in 2019, and the Certificate of Environmental Clearance process, which governs the environmental impact assessment process, is one of the major things that came up in that legislation.
If you don't mind, break down what the process is. So, for example, I am an investor or a developer, and I want to do something in a special place in the Bahamas. That might be a little fragile as far as the ecosystem is concerned. What do I have to do to actually get approval?
Okay, so in some instances, if the environment cannot sustain the actual development, the development is denied. So we would go through the process, and if it is determined that the risks do not outweigh the benefits, then we're unable to move forward. But if there are things that we can get around, if we can mitigate the negative impacts, you would apply for a Certificate of Environmental Clearance once you would have received a no objection from the Bahamas Cabinet. No, we would want this project to proceed, and so the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection is the first step after that. You apply for a CEC. And
what's a CEC?
Certificate of Environmental Clearance, and we would advise you that based on the components of your project, if it is near the coastline, if you want to install a golf course, a mega hotel, a marina, anything like that, then you would need to get an environmental consultant. I would like to say that since 2019, we have a new sector of environmental consultancy in the Bahamas that is very much flourishing as a result of this legislation. If you want to do development in the Bahamas, you need to have an environmental consultant who would advise on what is necessary for you to work in the Bahamian environment.
And, well, you and I know each other for a long time, 20-something years. We have so many great scientists, like yourself. So most of the people who are doing these kinds of CECs, are they Bahamians?
Everyone that works in the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection as an environmental officer is a Bahamian. And we encourage all Bahamians to go and study science. In order to work with us, you need a minimum of a bachelor's degree in a related science. I have a PhD in environmental science. I'm the only one in the department with that for now. We have an officer that is working on her PhD right now, and we expect that she will return. But everybody else would have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, and we're having a good time, actually, working to preserve and protect our environment.
Just out of interest, what was your thesis on?
My thesis, my dissertation, was actually on climate change risk. Yes, in the Bahamas. And so I collected quite a bit of data in the Bahamas from Bahamians, and I juxtaposed that with what we know is happening around the world, and to see the impacts of climate change on the Bahamas and how the Bahamas should address climate change.
Well, you have had your PhD for quite a while.
Yes, I don't want to date. I don't want to date myself.
No, I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm saying is, from the time you actually did your dissertation, have you seen a degradation or a worsening of factors in climate change since then?
We've definitely seen changes. We've seen marked changes with the level of our sea, of our oceans. We've seen high tides. We're also seeing, especially with these last round of hurricanes, the development of a storm from a tropical storm or a tropical depression into a major hurricane very quickly. So these are some of the things that would not be able to happen if climate change wasn't a factor. Because our oceans are now so hot, and we know that hurricanes feed on warm waters. These storms are really able to ramp up very quickly because of the energy that's in the ocean.
Wow. What can we do to actually sort of, is there anything we could do individually right now to sort of deal with climate change?
I do like to tell people, you know, that climate change is a global thing. And the Bahamas is a very small country. We know that the Bahamas emits about 0.01% of our greenhouse gas total to the planet. So if you think about that, then, you know, it doesn't make sense. Whatever we do, it won't have an impact. But all of the climate change things that we have been encouraging Bahamians to participate in are common sense initiatives. They would do well for your pocket, so they help you to reduce your energy usage, help you to build resilience when storms come. And so we don't look at it necessarily as a climate change plus, although they are, but these are common sense initiatives that will help you to live a better life and possibly decrease your cost of living.
Now, we know mangroves are very important as a defense.
Yes.
Right? And Bahamians historically or traditionally have been like, you go in and get your land and raise it.
Yes.
Not a good thing to do, right?
That is one of the worst things that you can do, especially now that we are having more rain, and we're having rain outside of the rainy season. We're also having more intense storms when they do come. So those mangroves act as a buffer between the land and the ocean. And so they hold water. They're usually very wet. And sometimes they're seasonally wet, but most times they're all the time wet. And if you fill that land in, you're removing the buffer between the water in the ocean and the dry land. And so when it rains, that water has no place to go. And if it was supposed to go in this wetland area that you have filled in, so what's going to happen now?
It goes right in your house.
It's going to go right in your house.
Wow.
And so you're going to cause a problem, not only for yourself, but for your neighbors, for people who are trying to get past on the roads, because now you would have filled in a natural stormwater protection that now we have to go and engineer to be able to produce the same effect.
But let's be honest, right? The Bahamas is under sea level anyway, right?
Most of the Bahamas is within the mean sea level, yes.
Wow.
80%.
Wow. I mean, I saw a map of, I think, the Pinewood area in the 1970s, and then saw it about in the 20s, and it's like...
So Pinewood is one of those areas that's almost in a bowl. And bowls hold water, right? And so Pinewood was something that happened. We're looking to engineer our way out of it. But I think that we should, once you know better, you should do better. And we should not. There are people that we notice, and I hope we get a chance to speak about some of the amendments to our legislation about people that intentionally go and destroy the environment. But nobody should go and intentionally destroy the environment. We're looking and we're hoping that Bahamians become so educated and become so understanding of their environment that when they look at a wetland, they don't see that as bush. They don't see that as a wasted space. That is performing a function that we all need, and not just the individual.
So do you think it's deliberate, or is just not understanding, lack of information? What do you think it is?
Well, we have a task to make sure that the Bahamas is educated about environmental impacts. And so as we continue to do our jobs, we hope that more and more Bahamians will become educated. And so right now we're going to look at it as if we don't understand what the function of the space is. But that doesn't mean that ignorance is no excuse of the law. So if you're found doing something that you should not be doing, there is still an impact, there is still a fine, there is still a penalty for what it is that you're doing.
And how high or how much would you pay if you really violate something serious environmentally?
Under the new impacts, Julian, if you are in need of a certificate of environmental clearance and you do work without a certificate of environmental clearance, the fine for that is $20,000.
Do you think that's enough?
Well, that is not the end of it. So the spot fine is where we're able to issue the spot fine on the spot, and you need to pay that spot fine within 14 days, or court proceedings will ensue after that. Now, if there is damage that we need to repair, the government is still at liberty to take you to court for you to make good on whatever it is that you need to do, or to ensure that you fix the environment the way it was.
Does the law allow the government to reclaim land where it's being abused? Excuse me.
For us to take it back?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is something called eminent domain, and if the government has exercised this in the past, yes.
Good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back, and we're going to talk a lot more about these things that Bahamians need to know about. Let's talk about how you should build after this.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Just what is it that you want to do? And we want to have a good time. We want to be free to do what we want to do. But what kind of cars is this parking lot? You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, he ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park in the handicap spot. Yeah, that's handicap. No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, boy, what's going on, dog? Man, I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way park here, man. I tell you we shouldn't park here. Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro, and he got a sticker inside that say this mod though. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot. That's what we gotta move. But we gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Welcome back. My special guest, Dr. Rihanna Neely Murphy, who is an environmental specialist, but she also heads up the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection.
Yes.
How should we be building our homes? I remember back in the day, for example, you know the area they call the pond?
Yes.
Good. Now, my grandfather's home was there, and it was like kind of high, you know, on stilts. How should we be building our homes?
Really, when we should be expecting, as a result of climate change, a lot more flooding when it rains, as a result, as well of how we developed, how we have developed. So if you raise your property, or if you raise your foundation, raise your floor, that is going to only be beneficial to you. And if you build your house, especially on the Family Islands, and you have a breezeway underneath there, that is also going to be beneficial to you, because that will allow for the smooth movement of water if and when it does flood in your area. I would not encourage anyone to build in anywhere that is a particularly low land. We had just previously, we're talking about the wetland areas, and that we shouldn't fill those in. But we also have to be careful about the very few hills that we have as well. We should be careful not to cut into those hills.
But we did that.
We have done that.
You got Milo Butler Highway and all those things. So does that contribute to more flooding?
So when you cut into those hills, you allow the soil now becomes loose. You remove the trees that were allowing the water to infiltrate into the soil. And so yes, you increase the potential for flooding in those kinds of areas, because now the water has nowhere to go but run off into the street, essentially.
But you know, we've noticed now, because you know, it used to be just, like you say, areas like Pinewood where there was flooding. But any rain now anywhere, and you're in trouble in Nassau.
Well, Nassau is 21 miles by 7 miles, and we have quite a few people living here. We have turned ourselves almost into a concrete jungle. With roads, with all the concrete infrastructure that we have. So a lot of the water that would have had space and room to run down or to accumulate elsewhere, we have developed those areas. And we have to ensure, a part of what our job is, and we work very well with the Ministry of Works, is to make sure that any new development, you account for your storm water on your property, so that we avert or avoid having the increase in floods in our streets and into neighborhoods, so that people can't get past.
We were talking about EIAs.
Yes.
How many projects have you had to turn down?
We've turned down quite a few, actually. And I'm very proud to say that we're able to work with most developers to find a common ground or to find a middle ground. But for those projects where, you know, you're impacting acres and acres of wetland, and really there's almost no amount of jobs that you can get to replace the function of acres, hundreds of thousands of acres of wetlands. The Bahamas is on the front line of climate change, and we need these ecosystems to keep us as well as we can be kept with the impacts that we're expecting. So we've turned down quite a few. A number that is not on top of my head, but
I won't put you on that.
We've surely turned down quite a few, and then we have sent a few developers back to go and make adjustments. And then once you're able to get those adjustments, then come back and see us for another review.
Now, I remember there was, I think, some special sort of machines that we had that we put in certain areas of the country to actually indicate what sea level rise was. You could probably tell me what they're called.
So we've had some meters. This would have been mostly with the Department of Meteorology. We need to understand, and I do believe that science should be driving any kind of policy that we would seek to implement. We do need to understand what is happening in our ocean. We need to understand what is happening in our environments before we just make a decision as to, oh, this sounds good. So it needs to be, it needs to be good for the country. It needs to make sense for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. So we have some meters. We had a partnership recently with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center that provided us with some early warning systems for our coral reefs as well as an indicator to what is going on with climate change. And so we have a number of these projects going on to help us to be able to use science and use numbers to be able to advise our political heads on what they should be doing.
I'm glad you brought up coral reefs because they're exceptionally important to us, right?
Yes.
Right? And we had this thing, I can't remember what's it called? Stony coral?
Skittle D, yes.
Right. Is that still a major, excuse me, is that still a major problem?
So we've had some reprieve with stony coral tissue loss disease, but we're not out of the woods. But the major thing that's been happening with our corals for the last 2 years is the increased temperature of our oceans. So this July was designated as the hottest July on record ever. And for the last year, we've had...
This July?
This July, 2024.
Hottest on record ever?
Ever. And so with the high atmospheric temperatures, that also translates into ocean temperatures. And so this July, our corals also experienced some bleaching as a result of the extreme heat. The same thing happened last year. So just as the corals were starting to recover, then we enter into this new heat wave in the ocean. And so we're waiting now to see how much of those corals are going to recover, but we're not sitting on our laurels as well either. So we are working with coral scientists to see which corals are performing better in these heat and high stress environments to see how we can assist them in continuing to grow. The ones that are able to tolerate the heat, we're going to help them to be able to grow and not copulate, corals don't copulate, but to multiply, yes, multiply in the ocean, and so we can have these coral systems.
But for people that don't understand, why is coral so important?
Corals support fisheries, one. So all of the grouper, the snapper that we eat, those are coral reef fish. They live around corals. Corals are also a storm surge protector. So when we have these storm surges from big storms, hurricanes, the corals will take that initial beating. So they will begin to stop the wave and slow the wave down. So the corals protect the infrastructure that is behind it, the roads, the houses, everything. And so if you lose corals, once the corals become white, once the corals begin to die, their structure...
So coral aren't naturally white?
No, they aren't naturally white.
So if you see white coral, there's something wrong with it?
It's sick or dead. So they're not white. So once they become white, they're very fragile because the living organism that was inside them has left it, and that relationship that they had to keep them strong has gone away. So if they are white and they're dying, they're not able to break the waves. There's nothing there for the fish that rely on them to come and eat and forage on, so the fish will leave. The fish will go somewhere else to where healthy coral are, and so we will lose our economic activity, and we also lose anything that would have been impacted by any storm surge because the coral is not able to do its work.
Now, because we're a big tourist thing, you know, and marinas are the thing. Everybody has to have a yacht. How detrimental is it to have a marina?
Well,
I mean, I'm against them, but...
It depends on where you place your marina.
Okay, go ahead.
So we do have some very deep water that is very close to our coastline that you don't need to dredge to be able to bring in a big boat.
It's the dredging that's a problem.
Right. So we have developers to look into those areas to see if you can have your marina around your development in an area that you won't have to dredge, or the dredging is minimal, because dredging disrupts the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And if there is coral in the ecosystem, of course, sometimes we have the developers to remove the coral and replant them, and then of course there is a monitoring plan that we ensure is followed after that. But if we don't have to touch these fragile ecosystems, it's best to leave them in place and let them do what it is that they need to do.
I'm going to bring up something that, we've been hearing about some shark attacks lately. And of course, the Bahamas brags about being a great shark sanctuary. Did we do the right thing?
I've been also having these conversations. And Julian, a lot of people want us to just go out and kill the sharks. Sharks are top predators, okay? Sharks are there to make sure that everything remains in balance in our oceans. We've just finished talking about grouper and snappers. If you lose the sharks at the top, the shark populations also keeps these populations in check. And if you don't have balance in the ocean, just like in any other system, you will have chaos, okay?
But do we have too many sharks, or is it just the habits of humans that are causing sharks to come closer to the...
The data on the too many sharks is still outstanding. And so I will not say that we have too many sharks. The ocean is the shark's environment. And so when we go into the ocean, we have to understand a few things. Sharks are attracted, one, to blood. And so most tourists don't go into...
And that's a fact, because some people thought that that wasn't necessarily true.
No. Most tourists don't go into the water and have blood or fish dangling to attract a shark. And I think that I can safely say that we have more safe interactions in the ocean than we have had incidents with sharks or shark interactions. And so I think if we go into the water with an understanding that we're on vacation, or for the Bahamas that go to bathe, it is a safe place.
That's their home.
But this is the shark's home.
Yeah.
And if you see them, then remove yourself from the situation. Don't ever try to engage a shark, but there are some things that we can do. Do not ever put dead fish in the water to try to attract a shark. These are things that, if I remember correctly, these are against the law under the Department of Marine Resources. Start chumming the waters. We can't do that, especially in areas where people bathe, and we know that people bathe because of the dangers that come with it.
So like fishing on the rocks, like a lot of people go to Saunders Beach and there's around there and they shouldn't do that.
We also encourage fishermen to keep a clean space, okay? Many fishermen, again, would go fish, clean out the fish, and then throw that back into the water. These are some of the things that attract sharks to the coastline. And so we encourage fishermen to try to keep a clean space, have a place to throw out the insides of your catch so that everybody is safe.
Good. We're going to have to take another little break, and we can talk a little bit more about sharks and some myths and how to deal with a shark if you come face to face with it. Right. Stay with us. We'll be back with more.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah.
Our company offers a simple philosophy: open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
From June 1st to November 30th, the ZNS Radio and Television Network is the #1 source in the Bahamas for hurricane information before, during, and after a storm. Now is the time to choose your radio and television hurricane season ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
Welcome back. Dr. Rihanna Neely Murphy is my special guest. And, you know, I must say this. I'm so proud of our Bahamian scientists. And there's so many of you now. Let's talk about careers, since I brought that up just now. What kind of careers are there for scientists in the marine, well, in the environmental field?
Well, we need scientists at the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection.
So we need even more than what we have?
We need even more than what we have. We brought on a cohort of 5 about 6 months ago. And
how large is your organization?
We have about 15 officers, 15 technical officers. And like I said, remember I said we cover the entire length and breadth of the Bahamas.
And how many applications do you get, like, on average per year?
Believe it or not, we don't get that many.
Really?
Because a lot of people, for whatever reason, I don't know if they're afraid of science, so they don't study science.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant applications for projects.
Oh, for projects. Large projects, we probably get about 20 large projects a year. And that may sound like a little, but when...
it seems like it's a lot.
It's quite a lot, because when projects come with a hotel component, they come with a marina component, they come with a golf course component, all of these things we have to check for.
So we're coming back to the EIA again.
To the EIA.
How long does it... Let's talk about all of the things that you have to consider when you're looking at an EIA.
So after we receive the initial application, we do something called a site visit. And so we would go out to the site and do a walkthrough of the site.
You and your 15 people?
Well, at least 2 or 3 of us would go out and do a walk of the site. At that point in time, we would advise the potential developer that you would need either a full environmental impact assessment. In some instances, if the site was already disturbed, you may need a smaller document called an environmental baseline assessment, which pretty much tells us, you know, what we met there, if there are invasive species, if there are protected species, and then you will outline what it is you need to do to handle these things. All projects need an environmental management plan. This is a document that outlines your day-to-day activities on the site, how you're going to deal with dust, how you're going to deal with your stormwater, how you're going to deal with noise, how you're going to deal with possible light pollution. All of these things are contained in the environmental management plan. Now, during the EIA process, there's a public consultation process. Once your EIA is approved by the department, you are given the okay to go to public consultation. By law, the public consultation notice should go out 14 business days before the date of the actual public consultation. Then there's the public consultation meeting. Sometimes the developer will have to go through more than one physical meetings, and they can be virtual as well. And so once we're completed with that, then you have 21 business days for the public to be able to give a response, voice their concerns, ask any questions, and we are responsible to respond to those in something called the amended or the revised environmental impact assessment. All of these documents are to be posted on the developer's website. We also have them posted on the DEPP's website. For the last month or so, the department's website has been down due to some technical issues that we've been having, but it's now back up, and we're working to put...
What is your website? Just let people know in case they want to...
DEPP.gov.bs is the department's website, so that's Department of Environmental Planning and Protection.gov.bs, DEPP. So you can see a list of the approved environmental impact assessments that are up there.
Are a lot of Bahamians trying to invest in environmental projects here?
We don't see a lot of Bahamians, not in very big projects. We see some Bahamians coming up with small hotel projects now, Airbnbs, boutique hotels, but the large projects, the mega ones, they're usually international landowners.
I'm only smiling because I was thinking about something today that, you know, Infant View Road, Dean Street.
Yes.
Airbnbs.
Airbnbs.
They have to come to you?
Yes.
Really? So
yes.
if you're going to open an Airbnb, they have to come to you first?
Correct. So the legislation, the amendments to the legislation that we passed had a caveat: if your development is not within an environmentally sensitive area, and we define what an environmentally sensitive area is, you are not subject to the CEC rules, Certificate of Environmental Clearance. But if you're building something that is more than a sixplex, so this would, we realized that it was burdensome on those people that were just building a house. If you wanted to install a fence or do a renovation to your property. So for those people, as long as you're not in an environmentally sensitive area near a wetland, the coastline, the beach, anything like that, and it's in the amendment outlined very clearly, you're not subject to these regulations anymore. But for any kind of this commercial development, any kind of enterprise like that, you are still subject to it, and so you would still have to go through this process.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's change it a little bit and go to careers. You've got a wonderful career, and I'm exceptionally proud of you. But what kind of careers are there in the environment?
So, I'm an environmental scientist. We have people in the department that study biology, people that study chemistry, study geography. All of these can be environmental officers. We need people who understand the environment well enough to write about it. We need environmental journalists. We need environmental economists.
And that's something, I consider myself an environmental journalist, but very few...
It is a skill.
Very few people actually sort of venture into environmental work.
So we would encourage anyone that has an interest in the environment to think about anything that you can do. You can put environment in front of it. So you can be a lawyer. We need environmental lawyers.
Do we have many lawyers who are actually specializing in environmental laws?
We have lawyers within the AG's office that are responsible for environmental law, but I cannot say that they would have studied environmental law. Yes. So if you're interested, if you're in law school right now and you're interested in the environment, there's a career. We don't have enough lawyers. I'm always asking, can we get? And so anything that you can do, you put environment in front of it, and it's a career, and we need it.
Now, I know a lot of NGOs deal with kids because they go into the schools. Does DEP do that?
Yes. This year was the first time we actually had a career fair. We brought in all of the environmental consultants, all of the NGOs to one spot, and we invited all of the schools to come and attend. We intend to do it again next year because we realized that the earlier we get a new set of people interested in the environment, the better off we all will be. I used to teach at the University of the Bahamas, and many of the officers that we have are some of my students. And they all would speak about how enjoyable the classes were because you're speaking about, or you're making it real for people. And so a part of what our job is to make environment not just something that is out there, but something that is real, something that you look at and you see, well, this pine tree is actually having an impact on my existence, and here is how. And so that is what we pride ourselves on in the department. We're going into the schools, we're going to find the students where they are, and to make them understand that this is not only a career. We like to tell them that it is a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of traveling, and the pay isn't half bad.
So you can make a good living.
You can make a decent living.
Now, listen, remember, I guess it's about 10, 15 years ago now, when they took down all those casuarina trees on Saunders Beach, and everybody had the tizzy. But do we know that there's been a major benefit, because they're invasive?
Yes.
Has there been a major benefits without them since we've done that, or?
So since the removal of the casuarinas, what we always encourage whenever you remove an invasive tree species is that you put back in vegetation that will stabilize the soil. So what we've noticed is that...
A native.
A native, right. Yes. So after they did that, they would have introduced native vegetation to stabilize the soil, and we have seen now that the need for putting in sand or the need for the road repair, etc., has decreased. Those casuarinas, those root systems grow very wild and very long. And very fast. And so they were interrupting the roads, and they were also interrupting the beach system, the sand dune system. We need that as well. That is a part of our coastal ecosystem that protects the infrastructure behind it. So when we damage a sand dune, a lot of people and developers too want to come and build right in the sand dune. We have to protect those ecosystems. And so you can't build in the sand dune. You can build behind the sand dune, and we'll work with you to make sure you do it properly.
Now, say I'm a little gardener. What kind of good native plants should I actually put in my yard? What's a good Bahamian thing, and what is also invasive?
We encourage people to plant fruit trees, actually. I do remember a time when trees were lined with fruits. We, talking about climate change, food security may be a problem for the Bahamas, could be a major problem for the Bahamas. We need to start to think about all of these trees. My grandfather said to me before he died a couple years ago that he is planting these trees and he knows that he will never eat from them.
Wow. He did it for the future.
But he did it for the future. And so we have to think not just about ornamental trees and making our yards look pretty, but we have to think about what it is that we need, what will grow well. So plant those things like sapodilli, plant your pears, plant your plums, plant limes. These are kind of things that are native to this area and that they will grow well. Don't look for plants that need a lot of watering because we're looking at potentially having drought periods. We haven't gotten to the point like California where you have to have a schedule of when you can use water. But as climate change becomes more and more of a problem, these are not things that are outside of the realm of possibilities for the Bahamas.
So we don't know exactly how climate change is really going to affect us? We only know some things?
We do know, but it's the timing of it. When will these impacts happen? We know that in the northern and in the central Bahamas, we will expect more rain. We cannot predict when the rain will come, but we know that when the rain comes, it's going to come plentiful. It's going to be a lot of rain. We know that in the southern Bahamas, that there's going to be more and more droughts. And so even when they get rain events, those will have a negative impact because it's so dry. But so these are things that we know that are going to happen. We're just, I don't want to say just waiting for it to happen, but
now, of course, anyone in Grand Bahama or Abaco who went through Dorian knows. You ain't got to convince them, but right? They know. Do you see in the next, say, 20 years, if things do not change, that we would have to evacuate our country? Do you see that happening?
So, under...
And I mean New Providence even.
Under the negotiations that we're participating in, there is something called a business as usual scenario. Under the business as usual scenario, we are expecting that sea level rise will impact the Bahamas by a full meter within the next.
So that's 3.5 feet.
Correct. Wow. And what we know about the sea level is if that happens, our tides again will be higher. Any storms that we have, the storm surge on top of the higher sea levels will be even higher and more devastating. So if we continue on this track as a globe, as a planet, business as usual, nobody changes their behavior, nobody does anything to address the climate crisis, then that is the potential for the Bahamas, especially in some of these lower-lying islands. Especially if there is a storm, you may not be able to return as quickly as you would have without it.
We have to take one more break, and we'll be back right after this. Stay with us. We're going to talk about the future of environmental negotiations, let's say. Yeah.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal, at the check-in counter, at security checkpoints, or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
Welcome back. Now, I can call you Rihanna because you're my friend. But, you know, in 1989, I was sent to Madrid to, along with Dr. Donald Cooper, to do something, to sort of follow something that was called the Convention on Biological Diversity. And we was all trying to figure out what that is.
What is that?
I think we have a better understanding of it now. But explain what that is and explain how the two, that and climate change, work together, please.
So the Convention on Biological Diversity is one of the Rio conventions, is what they call them.
Right.
So you have climate change, you have this one, the Convention on Biological Diversity, and you have the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Convention, and the Convention on Desertification. The BRS, what we call it, Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm, are on chemicals and mercury. But the one that we're talking about, biological diversity, is very important to the Bahamas because the Bahamas is one of those biodiversity hotspots. We have quite a few species, birds, trees, insects that are only found in the Bahamas. And so we have to take...
Really?
Yes.
Only in the Bahamas?
Only in the Bahamas. We call them endemic species. So when they're only found in the area that we see them, they're called endemic. And so we have quite a few of them, and some of them are endangered. And what that means is that they are at risk for not being on the planet anymore.
Wow.
At risk for us never seeing them again. And what I think is more critical is recently scientists have found a species to be extinct that we didn't even know existed. And I think that is one of the saddest things that can ever happen.
What is that? Which one?
This was one of, they found a frog in the Amazon that they did not know. They found a fossil of a frog that they didn't know ever existed. And I said, well, you know, we'll never get a chance to learn anything about this animal.
Definitely not in the Bahamas. No. You throw a box of molten salt on that.
Right. So, well, something like, we have to be careful as well with the things that we try to kill in our country. Because, like I said, many of them are endemic, only found here. And you never know if you don't understand what the species is, if this is endangered, you may be contributing to the extinction of a species.
But you know something? Speaking about frogs, I hadn't seen frogs in a long time.
No?
No, but guess what? I saw one the other day.
I have about 3 of them living in my screen door.
And what I like, I'm seeing a lot of birds now coming around. I'm not sure what kinds of birds are. They're big blackbirds, even stork-like birds. That's a good sign when you... And I'm seeing butterflies again.
Yes. So what we should know...
So does that mean is that the whole ecosystem is getting richer?
Well, things are coming back into balance, okay? We talked about balance quite a bit tonight, and we need to maintain balance. what we should know is that all birds in the Bahamas are protected. I don't think that people... All. I don't think people go around trying to shoot birds or anything. Hopefully we don't do that. But even those seagulls that are such a nuisance to us when we go to eat our food on the beach, those are all
protected.
Those are all protected.
So it's illegal to actually kill
Don't fool with that.
Wow.
So, and there are some birds that have a hunting season that the forestry unit within our Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, are responsible for. The white-crowned pigeon goes through a hunting season, and there are quite a few other ones that they monitor. And I think that they're working on, more of the regulations to ensure that those birds that we are able to hunt, that we're able to hunt them into the future. So the Convention on Biological Diversity is very important for us. We had officers that just came back from the Conference of the Parties. This is the meeting of all the nations on this COP. And we have to do stock takes very regularly.
And you mentioned COP. COP is coming up this month or next month?
The climate change COP is coming up. I think the team from the Bahamas is already en route. The Prime Minister is going to follow with his cabinet delegation.
What are we going to push for beyond climate change?
Well, climate change is very important to the Bahamas. And we're still looking for the capitalization of something called the Loss and Damage Fund.
Right.
The countries that should have put money into the Loss and Damage Fund have put a few $100 million in there. But I just want to put that few $100 million into perspective. We were supposed to receive $100 billion per year.
From?
From the developed world to address climate change.
How much have they given us?
Not a fraction, not even a quarter of that has been received. And from the assessments that we have done...
And this is something they agreed to?
That they have agreed to, yes. So from the assessments that we have done, we anticipate that our climate change bill, not considering any kind of storm or anything, but this is just your regular adaptation and mitigation actions, will take us to about $4 billion. Okay, and that is money that is not included in the Bahamas' budget. However, there are things that we can surely do as a nation. We need to find our allies in the space, those that have funds and are willing to assist us. The Bahamas is considered a medium to high level income country, so we don't qualify for a lot of the overseas development assistance.
Yeah, they keep using that excuse.
They keep using that excuse, but we are very highly vulnerable to climate change. So just as if there is a disaster in your house, you will not wait on anybody to come and assist you. You will do what it is that you have to do within your power to assist yourself. And these are the plans that the government has to address climate change within its own borders are what we are doing to help ourselves.
Now, we got 5 minutes left, but let's talk about plastics and bottles. I mean, personally, I can't throw anything out of my car.
Don't do that.
That would kill me.
Yes.
And it doesn't take much to just wait till you get to, even if it's just like you go to the gas station and drop it in there.
Throw it in there.
Right? But how dangerous are plastics and bottles to the environment?
So, again, I just had an officer to come back from Morocco on a microplastics training. So microplastics are those tiny, tiny plastics that we cannot see. And they float around in our oceans. And they're also being found now in the tissue of fish.
So we're eating plastic.
We're eating fish.
We're eating plastic.
We're eating plastic.
The plastic that we throw in the water.
The plastic that you threw. Maybe you were sitting on the beach having your KFC with a bottle of water or whatever it was, and you just left that on the beach. That is going to end up in the ocean. It will eventually disintegrate, become smaller and smaller and smaller until you cannot see it anymore, and fish will consume it. You will consume the fish. You will consume that plastic.
Okay, so how many years does it take for plastics to degrade again?
200 years. So every piece of plastic that has ever been made is still on the planet.
Wow.
Plastics are a byproduct of the fossil fuel industry. Big fossil fuel companies had a lot of wastage, and they had to figure out, well, what are we going to do with all of this extra stuff as a result of us refining this fossil fuel, and plastic was the result. And so around the 1930s and 1940s is when we came up with this wonderful idea. Plastics are very beneficial.
Yeah, but they're killing us too.
I can't see a hospital running without plastics. Our
can't see anything running
our
without it.
needles, are the bags that they have the saline in, all of those things are plastics. But these single-use plastics, the single-use plastics that we're using, and larger plastics that are not disposed properly are killing us.
We only have about 2 or 3 minutes left. I'd like for you to take a look in the camera and tell Bahamians what they could do to make their own lives better and improve the environment.
Well, I would encourage every Bahamian to be conscious, one, about what the environment is, what it means to you. The environment, all of the trees that we see outside, the smells that we get, all of these are building a better quality of life for you. And so it's important that you take care of it. To Julian's point about throwing your garbage outside of your car, no Bahamian should ever do that. These things lead to health crises that we're unable to afford. When the place is dirty, you see the infestation of roaches, of rats, of things that we don't want to be in our place, and these animals carry diseases. And diseases, nobody wants to be sick or be bitten by a rat or have these things running around. On the climate change and biodiversity front, I really want us to pay attention to our purchases. Make sure that you know and understand where your items come from. If you're able to reuse an item more than once, twice, 3 times before you throw it away, do that. It can help you to save some money. And I would encourage all of the young people, all of those young at heart, all of those that still have a mind and think you can study this stuff. We need your assistance, as the Bahamas is on the front line of all of these crises. Pollution, biodiversity, climate change, we just came out of COVID. So we need the help of every Bahamian, of every resident to help us on all of these fronts.
Again, I'm so proud of you. You need a lot of support. You know, I'm here for you. And keep doing the great work that you do.
Thank you very much.
Let's make the Bahamas better. And that's something we can all do. But have a good evening. And next week, Clint Watson will be back. Thank you for putting up with me. And thanks to the entire team here. Good night.
At Centerville, I'm LaDawn Davis. This is ZNS.
It's time for Focus Forward, sponsored by